be telling you a story called The Royal Raven. Crawford's looks were disappointing. He looked like every other raven he knew. Black feathers from head to tail feathers. But deep in his heart, Crawford knew he was special. He tried everything to stand out, from tying a ribbon around his head to painting himself up a rainbow. But nothing seemed to work. "Look at me," he would crow, but nobody noticed. Finally, in desperation, Crawford flew off into the deepest, darkest parts of the forest. As he flew, he came upon a mysterious-looking old cottage. Curious, he flew to the window and peeked inside. There at the stove was an old hag, a witch, slowly stirring a burbling stew. Crawford was so afraid, he tried not to make too much noise and pulled away as fast as he could from the window. But it was too late. The witch had heard his rustling feathers and whirled around.
"Who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you bothering me? I don't have time to talk to silly, boring old ordinary ravens."
Crawford, to his horror, could not keep the words in his mouth. "Oh, that's just the problem. I hate being a raven. I want some jazz, some razzle-dazzle. Do you think you can help me?"
"Me? Help you?"
Right over there.
Although, I could use some of your tail feathers to spice up this brew."
"Done!" cried Crawford, and he handed over the tail feathers.
"Thank you. Are you sure?"
Shalloo-calloo! And poof! Before Crawford's own eyes, his ordinary black feathers melted away into the most beautiful feathers he'd ever seen. Gold, shimmering silver, radiant colors of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Crawford was beautiful. "I'm the most beautiful bird in the world," he crowed. "The palace garden is the place for me." And to the palace gardens he went. The second he flew overhead, he was spotted by the princess, put on a golden chain, and paraded through the town. Crawford was ecstatic. He had everything he'd ever dreamed of. Lots of attention, outrageous beauty, and he was part of the royal family. He even got to dine with the king himself. That night at dinner, Crawford was joyfully flying from plate to plate, filling his stomach with the glorious food, when he felt it. The baby prince had pulled, yanked, tugged, dislodged one of his gorgeous golden feathers. Crawford squawked and flew right into the king, knocking him right on his back. Crawford flew all around the palace dining hall, knocking food everywhere and making quite a mess, and the king quite angry. The king made a royal decree banning all birds from the royal table, whether they were baked, broiled, or roasted, and Crawford was sent to live in a golden cage in the palace gardens. There he sat, wondering how it had all gone wrong. Not many people passed by, and when they did, they would talk about his gorgeous beauty, but it didn't please him anymore. Crawford gave up food and slowly wasted away. One day, an old hag came to the palace gardens selling strawberries. She walked through the gardens with the princess, and soon they came upon Crawford's cage.
"Oh, what a beautiful bird. But he looks so sad. Why don't you let him go?"
"Let him go? Are you crazy? He's the most beautiful bird in the world."
"I see. So you keep him for his razzle-dazzle?"
That gave Crawford a brilliant idea. And that night, he stayed up. Oh no, he did not sleep. He spent the night plucking every last feather out of him. And in the morning, the pile lay in the bottom of his cage. When the princess came out to see her beautiful bird, she screamed, "Ah, get that horrid thing out of here!" And Crawford gladly left. He went back to his friends in the forest. They were happy to have the old Crawford back. And Crawford was heard to say, "I'm glad I'm me. And when my feathers grow back, I don't care if they're purple, spotted, or just plain black."